Right now, all across the UK, there's young people asking themselves the same question. What if there's more to life than this? No rent, no 9 to 5, no distractions, no pressure. There's a growing counterculture movement in the UK that's seeing more and more people adopt alternative lifestyles, from going off-grid to devoting themselves to their beliefs. So what happens when you decide to take the road less travelled? You're about to meet 3 people who've done just that and flip the script on life.
I am Zeki Basan. I'm 18 years old and I've grown up in the remote glens of the Highlands of Scotland. I live out in the Cairngorm National Park. When I was young, it was my playground. It still is my playground, but nowadays it's also my office. I also work at a survival school, which I love very much. We teach courses all over Scotland. I want to try and teach young people and show young people my environment and inspire them as much as I'm inspired by it. There's always something at your feet, or there's always something in grabbing distance that nature is offering you. And then you start to think, okay, we can create fire, I can cook up a meal, I can do all sorts of things. Eating things in nature is not something to really play around with. If you make a mistake, it can be quite a serious one. I sometimes took too much of some doses, therefore I'd be on the toilet quite a lot. This area, and in many areas around the hill, buried in the ground, is something that people in the past would have been very, very familiar with. But in fact, every Scottish person is very familiar with. And that's a bottle of whiskey. That's what it's all about. A good view and a sip of whiskey. And then I can hit the road and keep on going. And we'll all go together through the wild mountain thyme and the purple bonny heather. Oh, we'll go, lassie, go. I think people that are surprised that I'm doing this at 18, I'm living an outdoor life, that's maybe just shows how far removed we are from this lifestyle. And that's a shame in many ways. The norm has become phones, video games, Xboxes. That is their world, that's their life, and they're missing what's around them in the outdoors.
My name's Brother John. I'm 27. I'm originally from Malvern in Worcestershire, and I've been at Downside Abbey now for just over 3 years. Even from quite a young age, I'd been very aware of a relationship with God. So when I decided to become a monk, it was just a very slow and natural process for me. I never really felt fulfilled. There was a great longing, I think, and so I'd had a few different jobs. In some sense it was easier for me than perhaps for some people exploring a vocation to quit my job and enter the monastery. There's something rather amazing in the monastic life whereby you give up everything, family, a car, an income, a certain freedom, yet God gives you them in a completely new way. So it was difficult to get used to the solitude. But also I was a classic introvert, so I'm quite comfortable being on my own. It's, if you like, where I tend to get a lot of my energy from. I've never been particularly obsessed with the latest technology and stuff such as that. But nevertheless, it was still a huge change because, if anything, it's marked by silence.
I'm Jess, aged 25, living by the River Ould in Suffolk and originally from London. In the line of work that I'm in as an illustrator and a freelance creative, it's really tricky because I don't have a regular income to live in London. I'm in a very fortunate position in that someone very close to me allows me to camp in the most beautiful spot next to a river. I have a teepee which I sleep in, and then I have a bigger tent which is my living tent, kitchen, studio, everything. It was a strange transition moving from a flat in London. You obviously have so much more space because you're in the middle of nowhere, but then you also have to limit what you live with, and so it was really interesting to have to reassess all the things I actually needed day to day. When you're in a big city, you feel the pressures around you because you're constantly bombarded with adverts and you're scrolling through Instagram, but actually when you're here, you don't have any of that. So you go back to basics without worrying about not making enough money to pay rent and worrying about what everyone else is up to. You can just really focus on yourself.